Hope everyone's excited. Hey, Instagram. Good morning. Let me know if you guys are here live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to talk to you guys. So good morning. Hi. Hope everyone is ready for a new week. Today, I am recording a podcast episode on my month of May. And I just decided to do it live with you guys. I know it's very early. It's like 6:45 in the morning. But I thought, why not? So I have my smoothie here, and I'm going to take you guys with me. So what we're going to be talking about is the month of May, what went well in the month, what didn't go well, what some of the challenges were, and the breakdown of my $80,000 month. So let me just share this in my Scale Your Side Hustle group, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And let me know, those of you who are here live, where you're tuning in from. Okay. I also just want to warn you guys that there's a very good chance I could get emotional on this because the world has been very emotional lately, right? That's what is happening. So give me 1 second. Hey guys. Okay. Cool. And then let me just share this in my Scale Your Side Hustle group. And we are gonna get down to business. Can you guys hear me? I know I'm being pretty quiet. It's like still so early that I feel like I just don't wanna wake anyone. And don't wanna be too loud yet. You know what I mean? And share in a group. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. And I'm just gonna kind of do my thing like I would normally record a podcast. I'm just gonna do it live with you guys. So here we go. Hi visionaries, welcome back to the Your Biggest Vision Show. I'm your host, Leah Gervais, and I'm recording this very early in the morning on June 1st. And I just had my smoothie and just wanted to come talk to you guys about what the month of May was like and recap the month. It was quite the month, and I think we all collectively feel that way right now. It's even a bit bizarre and weird and uncomfortable kind of talking about some of our wins for the month when, you know, we're waking up to a week now of just devastating news in the country after devastating months of news. But I think that, you know, we can both have the space for processing those things, or trying to. I mean, I don't even know where to begin with a lot of that. And also, you know, share what did go on in my life and in my business, especially in hopes that it helps anyone out there who might have their own business right now, or who might be making big decisions right now because of what is going on. So that is what I decided to come share with you guys today. I want to share with you guys some personal things that I went through this month. I want to share how I had an $80,000 sales month in the midst of so much economic uncertainty, because it's totally possible to continue to have high income months during this time. So that is my intention to talk to you guys about today, and we are just going to dive in. So May overall, again, I don't want to get too deep into sort of the bigger picture things, but I also don't feel good just kind of skating over them. When May started, I had so much optimism. I thought it was going to be a great month. I was super excited for it. I always love the month of May because my birthday's in May, and I always think that there's something about the energy that just feels new and fresh. It's really when New York starts to warm up. It's not in April or May or March. So I started the month really optimistic, and I also think there was an element of me thinking that May might be the last month where we're really dealing with like complete lockdown in New York. I didn't really think New York would go back to normal by the end of May, but I just had a feeling in my gut that something was going to change by the end of this month. I really think that humans are so adaptable, especially New Yorkers. And so I just felt like even if something didn't get better, something would change. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, that's how I felt. And I also had a pretty clear and high sales goal of $80,000. It actually was a bit higher. I'll be honest. I didn't actually reach it. So don't be fooled. Even when people tell you how high their income is, that doesn't necessarily mean they reached their goal. I didn't. But nonetheless, I had a clear map out for it. I'm very proud of what we ended up doing. So I started really optimistic and excited. And then here's how the month kind of went from there. So I'm going to give you guys just kind of an overview timeline. Then I'll talk about some of the things that did happen for me personally. And then I'll talk about how this 80K month happened. So my birthday was in May. That was exciting. I guess let me put it this way. So the first 2 weeks, the first half of May was very structured. So I had this clear goal of how much money I wanted to make. I had this clear goal of what we wanted to sell. I had a lot of like plans. And so the first 2 weeks of May were very much following these plans. I went through with the launches that I had planned. We opened a few spots for early bird enrollment for our mastermind, which is one of the best things I do in Urban 20-something, if not my favorite. I love it. And so I was really excited to start sharing more about that and, seeing who would be a good fit for it and things like that. So the first 2 weeks went well. Like they were all sort of matter of fact and just kind of went by the book. Then in week 3, as things were like going well, my inner self-sabotager came out like crazy. She came out so strong. She was ready to take me down. It was like every single day felt like I was kind of putting out a fire of like an inner demon or fighting an inner dragon, I guess you could say. And without going too much into this, I am aware of work that internally I need to do around feeling worthy of the things that I accomplish. So I know some people have kind of like this perpetual, I'm not ready, or I'm not good enough, or that's meant for someone else, not me. My kind of underlying story that has come up a lot in my business is that yes, I can achieve things, but once I do, I don't always feel like I actually deserve them. And so I feel like that came out in full force in week 3. Now, luckily, I've done enough personal development work and I have coaches to help me work through this kind of thing and call it out. And I know what it is. I don't believe it that much anymore. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean it feels good. It doesn't mean that I don't experience the darkness that comes with it. But probably even just a year ago, that kind of stuff could have just taken me out of the game completely. And this is something that I really work closely with my masterminders on, is recognizing when you are allowing more of your energy to go toward the things that you don't want in life than the things you do. And how when you do that, when you allow yourself to be swept up by the drama of why this isn't going to work or what's wrong with you or all that kind of stuff, by definition, you take yourself out of the game. You take yourself off the playing field and you give yourself a disadvantage, basically. And so that's what was happening. And it was not fun. It was a very emotional week, but I reached out for help. That was the first thing I did. I'm going to break down more of like exactly what I did. I'm just kind of trying to be high level here. So that was largely what happened there. in that kind of like middle section was my self-sabotager was like, why don't you focus on something else? This is never going to happen anyway. Don't do that. You know, this isn't a good idea. Like just everything you could imagine on why I basically should not move forward with what I was trying to do. Let me take a sip of my smoothie. So then, near the end of the month, what then happened was actually so beautiful. So I had a high, relatively speaking, right? Everything's relative. So for me, May, I had a high income goal. And near the end, I realized I had kind of a crossroads here. I could either work myself to the bone to try to achieve it, or I could step into more of a place of trust and more of a place of sureness and confidence that whatever was supposed to happen would happen. And that I, by nature, am someone that works so much. I'm not a procrastinator, that I just needed to now trust that the work that I did was going to pay off. And I'm so glad that I listened to that, because I think that the reason that crossroads came to me was because I realized that if I had a high income month, but remembered it as a really stressful, really, maybe even experiencing some burnout, not trusting, almost like not fun or not even feminine type way, I probably wouldn't do it again. And, the reason that I often hear from people that they want to hit a new income goal or a higher income goal is because they want to prove to themselves that they can, right? On some level, you want to see yourself go further. You want to see more of your potential realized. You want to prove that you can do more. And I definitely resonate with that. But what are we proving by showing that if we sacrifice our happiness, our well-being, like any of these other things in order to, reach these goals, that's not proving anything. That's not long sustainable growth or progress or proof of anything. That's really just, that's not a sustainable way to live. So the last week was really just about sort of enjoying myself more and, taking better care of myself, and stepping into more trust and stepping into more spirituality. So that was kind of how May ended up looking. Now let's talk a little bit about what May was like in New York and some of the decisions that my husband and I have made during this time. So as you guys may or may not know, we have decided to leave New York City. And that is a really devastating thing for me to even say out loud, because anyone who's met me probably knows that I adore this city, and it's my dream. It is my dream come true every day to live here. And I never had any plans of leaving, like ever, really. And during this month, I really had to face the truth that it's not about me leaving New York. Whether I stay or not, New York, as I know it, is gone. I'm going to get emotional just saying that. But it's not, it's just gone. And, I know, I'm just talking about COVID here. I don't want to get into the riots or the murder of George Floyd yet. But in terms of COVID, I know the country has gone through the ringer, obviously, this year. And I know that this might sound a little bit self-centered, but I'm just going to speak my truth here. I think there's an element of mourning that New Yorkers are going through that I feel somewhat alone in the sense that I don't think that my friends and family that live elsewhere are experiencing it quite in the same way. And here's why. One, we live in very small apartments, like very, very small apartments. And two, I did feel very unified, like during March and April as a country. Our country's obviously very divided, but I did really feel like we were all kind of going through this together and going through the lockdown together. But I feel like in May, there was a lot of optimism in other parts of the country and things started to open a bit. And that's just not going to happen here at all. anytime soon. It might in surrounding parts of New York City. I do know that they have some plans to do that. But in Manhattan itself, or in the 5 boroughs, I guess I should say, in the 5 boroughs, social distancing isn't a thing. It isn't possible. We live in very close quarters. We take public transportation. Even on the streets, there's, you can't really even social distance from each other if people are out and about. And it just really hit me this month that I've been so hopeful and optimistic that, we as people will adapt, and we as people will adapt and we'll be okay. But the reality is I've lived in New York for 10 years. I've never lived anywhere else as an adult. It is my home. And the life as we knew it here is not here anymore. I don't want to say it's over, but it is actually over. Because even when it does kind of come back to, or a new normal emerges, it will not look like it does now. I don't know what it will look like. No one does. There's so much uncertainty, and that's okay. I can deal with uncertainty, but there is an element of mourning that I went through, and I'm sure many of you are going through it again. I'm not trying to sound insensitive or like we have it worse than anyone else, because I obviously know that's not the truth at all. And I was even hesitant to share this point of view because I know how much we have to be grateful for. I don't have the coronavirus, is for one. My husband and I are healthy, right? Like there's people out there that are very sick and have died from this. And two, we still both have our businesses. We both were super blessed and lucky to work remotely, so we didn't go through any layoffs or anything like that. And I feel like for March and April, I was so focused on that, on what we have to be grateful for and how lucky we are. And all of that is still true. And at the same time, the feelings that I or anyone else are having about how this is still impacting their lives in an indirect way are valid. And that's really why I decided to come share this, is because I don't want anyone to feel like you're not allowed to feel sad or that you're not allowed to feel upset if this has interrupted your life in a way that isn't as bad. It's not a competition of who's going through worse repercussions of a global pandemic. But all this is to say, because of these, really honest conversations Adam and I had over this month and over May, and just the reality of what's going on in New York, we are leaving New York, and I'm going to do a whole podcast episode around how we decided that and where we're going. And I am actually very excited about it. I don't want to present it as we're being, kicked out of our city or whatever. We are, I've worked very hard for many years to build a business that allowed me to have freedom to work from wherever. I obviously didn't know I would need it in a time like this because no one could have predicted this, but I have not been using that, right? I'm not helping anyone by staying here. So we're really excited for this new chapter and adventure, and we're very grateful we can do it. And I will share a lot more about that, but that was also a big part of May as well. Okay, I'm going to take a pause here and drink some smoothie, and then we'll get into more of the financial breakdown and other things like that. Thank you guys for those of you who are tuning on live with me right now. If anyone has any questions or anything you want to share about how this is affecting your life, I would love to hear from you guys. Okay, so when I think of May, I kind of have 3 things to summarize about how the month went. 1, I felt quite healthy in May, and I'm not trying to say this from a tone-deaf place. I know people are very sick right now, but I ended April with a reboot that I do 3 times a year now with one of my clients, but also my own nutrition mentor, Jackie Smith. You guys should go to her website. It's called Little Adapts by Jax, and she has a free reboot you can do. But I did her 12-day one. And so I ended April with that, or I started May, I guess, with that, and I felt great. So this, for 12 days, I cut out all sugar, all gluten, all dairy, all meat, all alcohol, all caffeine. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But it was really just about eating real foods and kind of not having your body rely on anything for energy or for needing to sleep. And it felt amazing. I felt so great. So I kept up a lot of what I had done during that reboot during the month of May. I didn't go back to eating meat. I didn't eat much dairy. I didn't eat much gluten either. And I also, I'm not gonna lie, before the reboot, when COVID first hit New York, I probably had wine several times a week. And after this, really this month, I probably only had, I probably only drank once a week or so, if that. So all that is to say that I felt very healthy this month, and I think that really did contribute to a lot of the kind of faith that I experienced this month, and I also think it really contributed to my energy, which is why we were able to have an $80,000 sales month. So the reboot was a great way to start it. My chiropractor also was able to start seeing a selected few, I guess, per week. I'm not exactly sure. Well, I'm just really grateful that they, tried to open up at all. So that was a blessing. Oh my gosh, can you guys still hear me on Facebook? I don't know why I just went. Hello? This is so weird. Give me just a second, guys. Can you guys still hear me? Huh. Let me know if you guys can hear me still. I'm just gonna keep going in case you just can hear me. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. That's so bizarre. Let me unplug and plug again. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Just give me 1 second on Instagram. I'm not sure what to do about Facebook. I guess I'm just going to kind of keep going because I can see that I'm still live. So hopefully you guys can hear me still. Okay. Yeah, thank you. No, it was a great month. Okay, let's just keep going because you guys on Instagram are here. And hopefully Facebook can just hear me. And you guys that are listening can just go on about your day and listen if you want. Oh, wait. Okay, hopefully Facebook can hear me now. Shoot. Can you guys hear me? All right, I am just going to keep going, even though I don't know why my video went out, and hope that you guys can hear me still. Okay, so recapping May a bit more. So one was I think that my health had a lot to do with how the month went. Two, it was nonetheless an emotionally draining month because we decided to leave New York City. And obviously, very, very emotionally draining over the past few days with the gut-wrenching news of the murder of George Floyd. And then, finally, we had an $80,000 sales month. So let's get into the meat here. How did we create $80,000 in sales in 1 month during all of this uncertainty and all of this fear and everything else that is going on? I have a few different helpful things that I hope help you guys in sharing what did happen. First and foremost, I think that it's evidence that the world is going virtual, right? So I teach people online business, and I think that that's a huge reason why my business has still grown, because people are realizing that, we don't know when we'll go back to offices. Even if we do, we don't really need to. Is that really worth it? And honestly, a lot of people are realizing how short life is and that they don't want to go back to a job that they hate. And they're finally sick of having these excuses around why their side hustle can't become their full-time job or they can't start it or whatever. So I got lucky in that sense that like what I happen to do for a living, is helpful right now. I didn't do that right. But I did get lucky, and I'm sharing that because if you have thought about starting a business, or if you have one and it's still your side hustle, or if you have one and it's not doing that well, please reach out to me. It doesn't have to be like that. You can be doing great right now, obviously. And it can be very, very challenging to navigate through people's opinions, through the news, through the fear, through the collective doom that we're going through. And so, working with people and being in communities where there is an element of just what we're doing for our businesses and for our visions right now, it can really make all the difference. So please reach out to us. Okay, so 5 ways that we had an $80,000 sales month. Number 1 is, I don't know what the hell to do about Facebook. I know you guys can't see me. I don't know why. Maybe you guys can see me and I just can't see myself. Does anyone want to let me know? Oh, look, I don't know. Looks like you guys can see me. Okay. I just can't see myself. All right. So anyway, the first thing was that we very much pivoted in light of what's happening in the world right now. And we're still trying to do that right now because of the recent tragedies with the murder of George Floyd. But one of the things we did at the end of April that continued on into May was we relaunched my side hustle program, Scale Your Side Hustle. And we had no plans to launch that this year. The last time we did it was last year. We thought that was going to be the last time ever to do it. But after all of this happened, we got so many messages from people saying that they wanted to start side hustles. They wanted help on how to grow whatever online business or online venture they had. So they wanted to, they just wanted to learn more. And I wasn't going to just not, share this program that could change their life just because we hadn't planned on it. So in a matter of about 10 days, we had perfected a video series to advertise it. We had, had dates going open for it again. We started marketing it and we were able to fill that. And that was all in quick response to what was happening in the world. And if we would have stuck to our original marketing plan, if we would have stuck to what we had originally planned to sell, one, I don't know that we would have had, such a great response. But two, we wouldn't be good at our jobs, right? Like if you are an entrepreneur, especially if you are some sort of coach or consultant and you host communities, it is your duty to be a leader. And you don't have to have a huge community for this to be the truth. If you have 3 clients, you are a leader to them. And if you are not able to, pivot and respond to what they need, then I don't want to say you're failing them because that sounds kind of harsh, but you're missing out on part of your job. So why? Okay, looks like Facebook thinks this ended, so I'm gonna just start this again. So you're missing out on part of your job. That's a huge thing. So takeaway 1 is just pivoting, listening, not getting too attached to the how that you're going to do something. I mean, I think if there's anything we've all collectively learned over the past few months, it's that we can't plan for things as much as we want to at all. You have to be flexible. You have to be ready for the punches things are going to throw at you. And this is all easier said than done. I am not actually like I like knowing how things are going to happen. But being able to do this was huge. And so I really invite you guys to also just tune into what you think. And remember, if you are an entrepreneur, you are the expert here. You know what people need more than they do. Like if you are teaching them, then you need to stand in your power and know what is going to be best for them. So that was something I'm proud of that we did this month, because it's not always easy to do this. But this also, it taught me a lot about what it means to, like, I've always planned my launches like months in advance and we did this in 10 days and it was still a multiple 5-figure launch. So it was actually very educational on why or how long you think you need to plan these things when you actually don't. And a big part of that was also that I had a bigger team this time than I ever have before for a launch, which was really helpful. But that aside, I really think the kind of secret sauce, so to speak, was just listening. So that was lesson number 1, was pivoting in relation to what is happening as much as possible, especially if you lead a community of any kind. And I'm really grateful for that being able to happen. Okay, lesson number 2 on how I think we had an $80,000 sales month is that 2 of the major things that we were launching over this month, which were Scale Your Side Hustle. For those of you that are either that know Scale Your Side Hustle, you probably, or that know me, you probably know Scale Your Side Hustle. And also we sold a few early bird spots to my mastermind. So both my mastermind and Scale Your Side Hustle have excellent testimonials. And I think that really helped during this time of uncertainty when people could see that I'm not just like trying to sell someone something. I'm trying to help them. I think that I could help their businesses start or grow. And I have all this proof of other people that I've been able to do it with as well. And I think that that comes down to a few things. One, I think it comes down to over delivering on your products and services. Two, I think it also comes down to getting clear testimonials. This is something I don't see my clients do often enough with their clients. Really digging into what about your work helped them with a transformation. What did it transform in their life? Did it transform their relationship? What about their weight? What about their business or their income in my case? And when I ask for testimonials, I ask for these very specific examples of transformation that people underwent, because I want other people to see that it's possible for them as well. Now, I don't want you to listen to this and be nervous that if you don't have great testimonials, because maybe you're a bit newer, that means that you also can't be successful. That's not the case here. But it is worth thinking about how you can set yourself up for a place where you have a lot of these ducks in a row, so to speak, moving forward. And that comes just from over-delivering from day one, asking people really specifically what they're looking for when they work with you, and what transformation, ask them what they would consider a success if they work with you, and get them that transformation. And if you can do that, then they will be, they'll be your fan, they'll be like an advocate for you. And I really think that is what has helped us over this month, was just the testimonials we have and kind of like the proof of them working really well, that people, especially right now in so many times of uncertainty, really, really were looking for and needed. All right, we're going to go on to step 3. Just give me a second to have some smoothie, you guys. I put some ginger in my smoothie this morning. It's a nice little kick. Okay. Way number 3, or thing that I attribute to May being a good month despite absolute global chaos and devastation, is that I got help. So as I shared with you guys, during about halfway through the month was looking like it was going really well, and it was going well within my business, obviously not within the rest of the world. But I started getting all these crazy demons coming up in my head about what was wrong with me, why I couldn't do this, why I didn't deserve to do this during this time. Lots of self-sabotaging happened. And so pretty much right when that started, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't help anyone by stopping. That doesn't help my clients. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help COVID. It doesn't like all these things I'm telling myself about why I shouldn't keep going are not helpful. So how can I make sure I keep going? So what I did was reached out to someone, a former coach of mine who I worked with years ago, asked her how she was doing, asked her how much it would cost for the rest of the month. This was about getting to reach my goals in May, asking her how much it would cost and if she was available to have Voxer, if I could have Voxer access to her for 2 weeks plus a few calls. And she was like, totally, we can do that for you, and just gave me this price. It was that simple. And one of the things she said was, she was like, I'm impressed that you reached out and just asked. Most people don't do that. Most people don't think, where can I have the gaps kind of filled in around the support that I need? And one of my clients, she did the exact same thing. That's how we started working together, and I was so impressed. She knew that I had a successful mastermind and she wanted to create one. So she just reached out to me and was like, how much is an hour and a half of your time so that I can pick your brain on masterminding? So I'm really, really grateful that person was available to help me, and I'm grateful that I no longer think I need to do it on my own. And this is a stark contrast to how I was when I started my business. I felt like, by definition, an entrepreneur did things on her own, or she figured them out on her own, or that's how everyone did it. No one does it that way. No one. Any entrepreneur you look up to will tell you that mentors were critical in their growth. And even if you did want to do it on your own, or you could theoretically, which I don't really believe that you can, why would you want to? Why would you want to slow up your progress and your own success out of this ego-driven, I can do it all on my own type mentality? You could achieve so much more in your life, in your goals, in your business, if you have help along the way. And if you try to do it on your own, you are stunting your own growth, and that doesn't help your potential. When you're not reaching your potential, you're not really helping anyone else. That puts you into this like kind of martyr mentality that like you need to do it all, and it's just so not true. So I learned that lesson the hard way, right? Like my first month of business, or my first year of business, I didn't really make any money. Not really at all. And it wasn't until I started learning from other people and learning from people who had literally achieved the goals that I wanted. I knew that this person had at least once had an $80,000 month. So that was a reason that I thought of her, reached out to her. It was super easy. It was great. And of course there were moments where I'm like, oh, am I really going to pay for this? Like it was not a cheap investment. I want to be blunt about that. I didn't know that I was going to make this much in a month. Hindsight's always 2020, right? Like, once you've done it, but that's the difference is I went through this month. This is actually lesson number 4 that I learned. And I honestly think it was like the first time ever in my business that I really got this concept. Like I have heard of it, but I hadn't really done it. It was the first time where I went through the month as if all of this was a done deal, right? Like it was already written. It was already for sure happening. And because of that, when she told me how much the investment to hire her for a few weeks would be, my immediate instinct was like, oh my God, well, I don't know if I'm actually going to hit my goal for this month. Is it actually wise to spend thousands of dollars for just a few weeks? Like, shouldn't I just try to do it on my own and then see what happens? And then if it doesn't work, well, at least I didn't spend that money. And I realized how wrong that was. And I was like, if I actually have faith, if I actually believe I can do this, which you have to, and you don't get to have proof that you can do this, right? That's the other thing is people all the time are like, I don't actually know if I can reach this goal because I've never done it before. That's the point. With any new level, you've never been there before. Every single time with anything in life, right? Like the first time you jump off a diving board, you're scared because you've never done it before. But you do it because you believe that you can on some level. And so if I was really going to take my own advice there and believe that I could do this, then I needed to act like it was already done. And in the world where I had achieved this already, in the world where I already had this 80K month, then this investment with someone made total sense. It was something I could handle. It was something that I could afford. And it was something that would be helpful to me to not have to do it alone and would be better for my mental health and my emotional health. So that was a double lesson. One was get help. Don't try to do this on your own, ever, ever, ever. Why would you rob yourself of support? Why wouldn't you try to get the most out of your life and your business that you could? And 2, show up every day like whatever you're wanting is already yours. Take it, claim it as yours. Have that power behind you that you know you can do this and you know you can manifest this and then you will. But if you don't believe that you can, then that's exactly what you'll get. So whatever that means for you, whatever, if you are just in the beginning stages of starting your business and you haven't yet started it or got your first client and you're struggling to believe that you will, realize that you can't wait for that to happen for you to get the validation that it's happened. You need to believe that you can do it in order for it to happen. You need to step into the power in order for it to happen. We have this reverse chicken and egg scenario all wrong. We don't get to wait until we've made a certain amount of money or we've had whatever external validation we might be seeking to believe that we're capable of something. You have to believe it first. You have to become the person who can do it first. Okay? And then lesson 5 from my $80,000 month of sales was that I had diverse income streams. So I've talked a little bit about my mastermind on this in this episode so far, and I'm obsessed with it. And one of the things that we're doing differently for it starting on July 1st, so we are now starting enrollment for the second half of the year of the mastermind, is that every month we're teaching you a new income stream. And the reason we're doing this is in response to how uncertain things are right now and where people are right now. and feeling like they want as much stability in their business as possible. So we're exploring different ways that probably already exist within your business. We're not going to have you build a new, this is like not like build an ebook this month. Things that already exist within your income stream or within your business that you might never, maybe not have had the time to go into, maybe aren't sure exactly how, or maybe didn't know when it was the right time. So we're going to walk through that with everyone. And that was largely inspired by this month and by seeing how valuable different income streams are, and being able to think in tiers with your offerings really is. So I'm very excited for those masterminders to go through this. And if you are interested in joining my mastermind, applications are open. You can go to urban20something.com/mastermind. And this is for online-based entrepreneurs who want to end 2020 with multiple 5-figure months as well. And this is for people that are already full-time entrepreneurs, but if you are looking for something that you're starting or to grow your side hustle so that it becomes full-time, please reach out to us because we have other offers for that as well. So to recap, the 5 things I attribute this month to and the lessons that I learned along the way were: 1, pivot and be responsive to what people in your community need the most right now. 2, over deliver with your products and services so that you have testimonials, you have proof of it working, and you can provide certainty to people who are considering joining your program based on things you've done in the past. 3, get help. Don't do this alone. You are robbing yourself of your success by trying to do everything on your own. You can apply to my mastermind if you want my help with it. urban20something.com/mastermind. 4, show up as if things are already done. Don't live in fear of what if I fail. Live in the confidence that you can and will succeed. And 5, diversify your income streams. So those are my lessons around the pure business side of what happened this month. I guess some other lessons that I really feel like I learned this month were, and just like things that happened, were 1, that your health, it will always be one of the biggest, it can almost be like your secret weapon behind your success. Now, I want to be careful saying this because I think sometimes people can feel like there might be like shortcuts to success. Like that's kind of what I see in this whole biohacking movement. Like they're like, oh, if you just, take some mushrooms and don't eat like fast for 2 days, your startup that's failing will succeed. I don't really think that. But I do think that if you're trying to go to the next level, and if you're trying to just, even if it's just kind of a micro level, paying attention to your health, your holistic energy levels, and just, treating your body like it needs to perform at its utmost best, which it does, can be a big game changer. I also learned that, it was just an emotionally draining month. I'm sure everyone out there is exhausted. I'm not trying to pity if I get pity for what I'm going through, because we literally are all going through it, and we are all, even now, seeing all of this horrible outcome. It's not, the outcome isn't horrible. The murder was horrible. And really scarring. So anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but May was kind of a collectively brutal month, I think. And for those of you in country or in states that are starting to open up, I genuinely hope that you're feeling better. I'm happy for you. I'm kind of saying through my teeth, I'm happy for you. No, I really am. And again, I'll share more about what we're going to do in our decision to pivot and leave New York. But it's definitely a heartbreaking realization. It's almost like the life that I've built for the past 10 years is it's just gone. And we'll build a new one, and New York will be better than ever before. I still think it's the best city in the world, and this is not goodbye forever at all. But it's sort of just overnight, this new chapter was set on us, and we have really no choice. I learned to reach out to people to get help with business, but also with your personal emotions, and that you're allowed to be processing this in a way that's challenging, even if you are healthy and even if you have your job. When my dad passed away, that was probably the biggest emotional lesson that I learned during that time, was how important it is to honor your emotions as they coexist. Because I remember just feeling exhausted every time I'd cry to someone after he passed away, and then saying that well, but I'm so grateful that he was my dad, and I know I have so much to be grateful for. And it was almost like I was trying to build this shield because I knew what people were going to say to me, which is like, oh, well, you had such a great dad and blah blah blah, and I did. So I could be grateful that I had such a great dad and be sad that he was gone. Like the two can exist at the same time, and the same is true here. And so honoring those emotions and knowing that you will be a better leader, not by just being positive all the time if you are feeling hurt sometimes, but just by being honest and showing that it's okay to struggle some of the time, and it's okay to not feel great every day, and it's okay to be hurt by what's going on right now, and to be sad. So anyway, I know that this was kind of all over the place. It's early morning. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. Let me see. I feel like I have some comments here on Instagram to respond to. Let me know if anyone on Facebook has any questions. Yes, enjoyed the excuse of COVID to do it all on my own. Totally. No reason to do it on your own ever. Pivot. Don't do it on your own. Show up like it's already there. Awesome. Thank you for recapping those. I'm so glad that you guys liked this. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in with me. Thanks for dealing with my very early no makeup look. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your guys' sensitivity and well wishes. And I just hope everyone out there is staying safe. And I hope everyone out there with a platform is saying something about what is happening in this country right now and the racism that resulted in the murder of George Floyd. And I did a separate Facebook Live about it yesterday, so I'm not going to get more into it today. But I did a whole Facebook Live about it yesterday, sorry, I'm trying to find the words, but I apologize that I didn't say something sooner. I don't think it's okay to not say something if you have a platform at all. I don't care if your platform is 2 people. And I do think we're at a point, well, actually, I don't know if it's that we're at a point or we've always been at the point, but there is not an easy, I'm not involved stance to take at all. You're either racist or you're anti-racist. And if you're anti-racist, then you need to be making that clear and doing the work that goes behind it. And if you're not anti-racist, I don't know. I feel weird as a white person saying that you don't have, just because you are racist doesn't make you a bad person. It's not really my place to say that. But I guess my point is, a lot of the racism that is happening, I do think, is the result of things that have been passed down through generations and not thought twice about. I don't think that everyone out there is trying to be malicious or trying to be a bad person or trying to be hurtful, but we are hurting people. And we're going to hurt people more if we don't say something, and we are going to hurt people more if we pretend like we can be passive here. We can't. Or by definition, you are allowing yourself to be part of the problem. So if you want to hear more about my stance on that, you can go check out my Facebook Live from yesterday. I will probably share more, as well as my company and I develop some more clear values. That's a big thing I've been learning, is that I need to be more upfront about what I believe in, because I want people, when they join my programs, to know what they are or aren't signing up for. And if you don't align with my values, that's totally fine. I would rather you feel like you're investing at a place where you do. And I would rather be, bringing together a community that does. So anyway, more to come on that as well. But I guess all this is to say that anyone who is listening to this or watching, I hope you know that you probably have gone through more over the past few months than you ever thought you would, and that you are most likely stronger than you're giving yourself credit for, and that these collective stresses are real and they will get under your skin. And I believe that the most important thing you can do is to take care of yourself first, and that you will be able to be a better business owner, a better leader, a better advocate, a better family member, whatever you're feeling like you're trying to boost. When you take the best care of yourself, when you say yes to yourself, when you get help to support yourself, and when you put yourself first, it's not selfish. It's the least selfish thing you can do. Because if you are putting everyone's needs before your own, you won't be able to show up when people really need you. And we really need you right now. We really need visionaries to step up and start their businesses. We really need people who want to do things online to stop playing small, stop dabbling, scale, get out there, do it. And we really need people to say that they are not going to tolerate the injustices that are happening in this country as well. And we need people to stay positive during a very difficult time collectively with a pandemic going on. So put yourself first. Know that it is the best service you can give to the world. And if you guys have anything that you want to connect with about this episode, any questions about what I talked about in terms of our sales, or if you want to apply for our mastermind or anything at all, please DM me or email us. I love hearing from you guys and connecting with you guys. So thank you guys so much. I'm wishing you all a wonderful June. To those of you in places, I think pretty much anywhere other than New York and LA and Virginia, I do think you have some light coming at the end of the tunnel here. So sending you guys lots of love. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have an amazing day, week, and month. Here's to your vision. Keep fighting, you guys.